Hello, everyone, and welcome to the ProblemSolvHer Podcast, where we have fabulous women and men of all ages, races, and creeds that are innovative and smart and fun and creative and give great insight and advice. And I'm your co-host, Chloe, along with my girl,
Dagmar.
Dagmar's in the house. Hello, world. I'm taking a breath, Dagmar, because we have a very important topic to discuss today that I probably need some advice from you on. I can give to others, but I need you to give it to me.
So let's talk about the topic. So it's about long-term relationship breakup. Let's first start with, how do you define a long-term relationship?
Well, I've had many. I've never been married. I know you have a few times. But a long-term relationship, see, it's funny because today's younger generations, they date someone for like 6 months, 8 months, and they're like, I had this long-term relationship. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't even know a person in 8 months, right? I've had a lot of long-term 5, 7, 8 year, almost a decade-long relationships. So for me, a long-term relationship can be quantified, obviously, in the amount of years, but also the amount of time you spend with someone. You could be with someone for 5 years, but you've only spent 4 months a year with them. So for me, it's the time spent, that quality, and the length of time, and how well you actually know somebody. Because I think that a long-term relationship means that you've dedicated yourself to someone, and that's mentally, physically, right? You have given yourself to someone and you've given it wholeheartedly and 100%, and you haven't held back in any way. That's how I define a long-term relationship. Would you agree?
Yeah. What do you think is so difficult to break up a long-term relationship if you are unhappy, unsatisfied, sad, or frustrated in it, and you figure out it's going nowhere?
Unfortunately, I can speak from experience multiple times in this area, but that's okay because we learn and we grow. I think what happens is we start off with all the right intentions, right? Again, I'm speaking personally, so I'll give an example. I meet this guy, he's checking the boxes, right? Fitting the criteria, tall, dark, and handsome. I love a tall man. Tall, he's good looking. Tend to date guys that are a little bit younger than me because I'm very youthful myself. Younger guys are drawn to me. I don't go to them. They come to me. And I just love their young perspectives, and they have a lot of energy. I just like to be around good looking, younger guys. And that's okay because men have been doing this for hundreds of years where, they date younger women, but there's no stigma around it, right? But if a woman is dating a younger man, woo. But regardless of somebody's age, I think that all men in general lack some form of communication. And I'm not saying that in a negative connotation. I'm saying that in the sense that women are more, as you know, empathetic. We have a more of a motherly instinct, whether that's with humans or with animals. And we are more vulnerable and will share more. And that's probably where the ego comes in with men. And, men and women's bodies are built differently. It's like the famous book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Excellent book. Read it several times. And I think that we get in, like I said, with really good intentions, and we think, hey, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know where this is going to go, but I like what this person may have to offer. And then you get in the cycle. And what I mean by the cycle is you get very comfortable with somebody and they become your best friend and you like having them around, but maybe you don't have a physical relationship anymore, but you're still attracted to them emotionally. And they've become a big part of your life. So then it's, oh God, how do I get out of this relationship? And what am I going to do? Or, you're 4 or 5 years later, I'm still in this relationship. How did I get here? Wait, I'm still here. Hold on. I'm here. Yeah. I think that it's hard. It's very hard to break the cycle.
So I like what you will do next, because this is what breaks the cycle. From my experience, definitely. What I would like to share to what you're saying. Now looking back, I can clearly say that how the relationship started, they had already the signal that they wouldn't work out. But I didn't want to see it, or I believe I could fix it, or when
You ignored the red flags.
when you say yes, then you go to the end, right? From a Catholic perspective, until the death separates you. We are in a time now where women really have the opportunity to make conscious, free decisions, which our mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers did not have, because they needed financial support. They needed safety, right? So getting over to the next point, what are the signs we can look for before we start a new relationship to avoid that we are going to another breakup? What are the signs for you? What do you look for?
Before I tell you the signs, I love what you just said. It's very powerful. Women are at a time and a point, because we have evolved as a human race, where women are more independent. They make their own money. They make their own decisions. They're not held to a man, right? Or having to be home and be, the stay-at-home mom that's cooking and cleaning and with the children, which for a long time was a thing. And some people still are very traditional and like to do that. And I don't knock anybody for that. But I love what you said. Women, guys, let's be free thinking individuals. Please, we have to make our own decisions. I love that. And we are. We're at a time in the world where we can do that. Now, to avoid going forward, right? It's like trying something that you know doesn't work, okay? So I'll give an example. I love sports. Tennis and basketball are my big sports because those are the ones I'm really good at. So I like to watch them professionally as well. Maybe that's a little ego thing there. I tried volleyball. I tried soccer. I tried field hockey. I know I'm not good at those sports. They're just not my sports. Excelled at tennis, excelled at basketball. And I love watching those sports. And I know all the teams. And that anyone can ask me any tennis question right now. No one's going to stump me. I have all the answers on the men's and women's. And I watch all the majors and all the tour level 500 and 1,000 point tours and everything. Okay. So the correlation there is that if I know I'm not good at volleyball, if someone asked me to come out this weekend in 92 degrees in Florida, hey, we're having a really cool volleyball tournament and I think you'd be great. You're going to meet some new people and we're going to have, some fun cocktails on the beach after. I don't want to embarrass myself and go play volleyball. I'm good. I know I'm not good at that sport and I'll be miserable because I'm so competitive and I don't need to do it. So it's the same thing in a relationship. I think that women follow patterns. Like you said, we want to try to save somebody or think that we're going to come in and we're going to help change them. We're going to make them a better person. If you see the signs and then you keep repeating those signs, the same thing is going to happen. You're going to date someone for a few years, then you're going to break up with them, whether you break up or they do the breakup. And I think also a lot of times we're scared to do the breakup. We don't want to have the conversation. We're like, oh, I got to break up with this person today. It's a lot. It's like saying I have to quit my job, but I just can't do it. I'm just going to stay in it. I'm making money. I'm just going to stay in the job. You know what? I'm going to quit next month. I definitely am going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. Next month comes. Nope. The seasons change. Winter, spring, summer, and fall. And it's the same in a relationship. You have to break the pattern. Think about what you want, not what you don't want in a relationship. And before you get into the next one, say to yourself, I will not date someone if they don't live in my state. I have a problem dating guys that are overseas. I like guys from different countries. And I not particularly have dated an American in a very long time. I have to stop this pattern. I want to be able to go to the movies with someone and, grab an ice cream or go to the bar and get a drink, or someone walk, Oliver with me or walk him for me. And if they're living far, they can't do that. So we have to just like break patterns and cycles within ourselves and really say, no matter what, and a lot of times it comes down to being very attracted to somebody, right? So it skews kind of, no, but he hasn't worked in 2 years. Okay. Well, he's not that ambitious, but he's so good looking. I don't like the way I heard him speak to his mother on the phone. Maybe he's not a family guy, but he's so tall. It's okay. We can't do that, ladies. You have to be very intentional about who you want to date and then, God willing, marry one day. Does that make sense?
Totally. So what are the top 5 signs that would raise a red flag and make women better not move forward?
Well, first of all, we talked about this the other day on a different podcast about people showing who they are. Some people don't show who they are right away. That's men and women. Some guys pretend to be, I dated a guy like this who I thought was very soft and not aggressive, not very assertive, and turned out to be very aggressive, bulldog mentality. But I didn't learn that right away. So when the signs, sometimes the signs aren't even there. You don't even see them. However, in the very beginning, if someone shows you who they truly are, I would say to avoid people that are constantly late, they're not calling you back. There's like this whole saying that if a man doesn't call you back at night, he doesn't call or text you, and he gives you the whole I fell asleep early, and he's constantly doing that. No. As we say in Jamaica, someone go on. Someone go on. I don't know what it is, but something is happening there. So look out for that sign. Family orientated is huge. If in the beginning a guy's like, no, I'm not really close to my family. I haven't spoken to my mom in months. My brother and I don't really talk. My dad, once in a while, it's like, for me, out. If you're not close to your family, I have to question that. Obviously, there's some circumstances, okay, that's fine. Someone who's loyal is like huge. If they're showing you they have your back and loyalty right up front, then that's a keeper. But if the signs are there where something just feels off, a little shady, you feel it inside. You're like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. No, it's going to keep reoccurring and happening again. Another thing is, and this is so huge, women, because I've done it, we've all done it. When you meet a guy and he's like, yeah, I'm not really sure if I ever want to get married. I'm not really sure, maybe, possibly. And you're like, oh, no, I'm fabulous. This guy's going to want to marry me in like 6 months. If he's telling you that right away, or I don't think I want kids, I just want a dog, believe him when he says that, okay? That's huge, massive. And the last one I would say is if a guy's not funny and you think, oh, he's a little stiff, but you know what? When I get to know him, he'll loosen up. If he's not funny off the jump, the guy's never going to be funny, okay? He's not going to become a comedian overnight. So I think humor is a really big part of a relationship. So those are the things that I would say.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that's a lot to look for in a good way to prevent that we're going in another breakup relationship. Let's do one last scenario before this episode ends. So the last scenario is, okay, I broke up the last relationship. Now I'm much more aware of the signs, and especially the signs you just shared. But I felt lonely, and all of my friends have a partner, and they're all going out on Friday nights, and I'm at home, and I'm tired of it. I want to have a partner. I want to go out. I want to belong to somebody. So I'm back dating. And this new one seems like getting along with his family and seems loyal. So I'm going into a relationship, give everything. And suddenly everything changes. And he's not responding back to the text messages. He doesn't have so much time anymore. Little by little, it's breaking.
How long has this relationship been going on? This is like, you're saying this is like an early on.
So let's say the first 2 months were great, and then month 3 it started.
Okay. So women, some of you are not going to like to hear this because people think, oh my God, I'm in love. You're not in love in 3 months. You're not in love in 2 months. You're not in love in a month. Love at first sight and all these things. That's infatuation. I really firmly believe that. That is infatuation. We've all been there. I've met a guy in the past. I don't fall often, but if I fall, it's hard and quickly. Doesn't happen often, but when I do, I'm like, oh my God, I was in love with this guy in the third date. No, you're not. That's infatuation. So when you're only 3 months in, you can't be that invested. I'm sorry, honey. 90 days is not an investment. 90 days is like 4 vacations. It's not an investment. Break it immediately. The second he's starting to pull away, he's either seeing somebody else. Okay, these are just the facts. He's either seeing somebody else, or he's not as interested in you anymore, or he's not attracted to you anymore. And that's okay. And our egos can accept it. Break it off. Don't try to string it along, and don't be desperate and hungry. Please do not be desperate and hungry.
How do I break it off?
Bring. Hey, Bill, how you doing? Great, Rebecca. How are you? I'm good. I just wanted to have a little chat with you because I'm kind of sensing that, we've been a little disconnected lately. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You pretty much know what I mean. That's okay. So I really enjoyed our time together. I appreciate that beautiful purse you got me for my birthday last month and the orchid that's sitting on my dresser. Thanks for the memories. You made me laugh a couple times. The physical was nice too. But I think it's just best that we be friends, and we're not far enough along into this relationship for us to be really hurt. So I think, we should just part ways. And who knows what the future may hold. But right now, I think this is the right move.
And then he says, let me do better.
I appreciate that.
Then he starts calling you, sending you presents, flowers.
Right now, he's more interested because you're not interested anymore. It's the oldest trick in the book. No, I'm good, because he'll do that just to get back in your good graces because his ego is so bruised, because he's saying, well, hold on. I was the one pulling back. I just started talking to another woman that I met at the bar 2 weeks ago. And how dare Rebecca is now saying she doesn't want Bill. Are you kidding me? I'm so hot. I'm so fit, so tall. I'm good looking. I've got a great job. I wear a Rolex. Guess what, Bill? Have a nice day. See you later. It doesn't matter. Him now trying to make an effort after you've called him out and felt that he was pulling away for whatever reasons, it's not going to work. He's going to do the same thing again in 3 months.
Yeah. I don't know if Lewis House said it or if I heard it in another podcast. He said it doesn't matter how good looking he is or what he has or his position, whatever. It's all about how does he make you feel?
100%. I think that sometimes we get sidetracked. And, women do this also, where they know that they're physically very attractive and they can get any guy they want. They walk in the room and they flirt with everybody. And they're like, okay, well, I can make my decision. I can go home with him, or him. I can get his number. He can take mine. And men are of the egos of, especially if they're very good looking and they're tall and they're in really good shape and they happen to be successful. If they have all of those things, they're like, I am the unicorn out here. So they use that to their advantage. And sometimes those guys take it too far. And yes, you can be as good looking as Brad Pitt, which is probably rare, or as Idris Elba, probably rare. But yes, looks are amazing. But when you're both 85 years old, right? No matter how good looking now he's only 5'7". He's not 6'2" anymore, because people do get short as they get older. And he has no more hair and he's got a little belly and he's sipping his beer. You're going to look at him then and be like, oh my God, I was with you all these years because you were so handsome, and you're going to ditch him at 85. There has to be more depth to a relationship. You have to be just as mentally and emotionally attracted to someone as you are physically. Because if you're just relying on the physical, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, so we're at the end of this podcast, and I think it was amazing. Thank you so much. So you have one message you can share with the women out there who are listening to us and all the solvers who experience these problems, long-term relationship problems, breakup problems, starting a new relationship problems. What's the one message you would share with them? What would change their life today?
You always hit me with the really good, hard questions. The message is, and it's so simple, and it's nothing new, ladies. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. Be true to who you are, the core you. You always know inside who you are. You always know when you're making the right decision or the wrong decision. Don't second guess yourself. You know from the very beginning when you meet somebody whether or not there's potential there. And if there's even just one sign, one thing that you question at the very beginning, it could be one red flag, on to the next. We're not here to question. It should be seamless. It should be easy. It should flow. There should be organic trust in the very beginning. And it should just be like a flowing river that goes all the way down. It just keeps going. The river doesn't stop. It's just going and going. And you're just watching this beautiful thing and you're looking down the river and you're like, that looks easy. I want that. That's what a true relationship should be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
So where do we find these guys?
When you're ready, they are coming. Because I'm listening to David Gehem, who's teaching Kabbalah, and he says, you don't want to pour great wine in a dirty coffee cup. You need to be this beautiful glass to be ready to receive. And I think the key is to be ready to receive, to work on
And The Power of Kabbalah is one of the best books I've ever read. And I studied with Eliyahu and Eitan. They were one of the first Kabbalah learned rabbis. You have to be a rabbi of 25 years to teach the Talmud. And what you just said is part of that. That's in The Power of Kabbalah. It's so true. It also comes with valuing yourself and respecting who you are. Because if you know your worth, no man is going to take you down. And you're going to make the right decisions. Now, it's easier said than done because we've all been there. Because we've all had that tall, good-looking guy, and we just go, okay, fine, I'll go on a date with you. And the red flags are sitting right there like this in our face.
That's why we will have another episode exactly about that. Because it starts all with us first before we go out and find a relationship. But thank you so much for today. That was amazing as usual. And if you want to connect with Chloe, just send her a private message on Instagram under ProblemSolvHer without an E. Or go to our website, fill out the contact us form, or just if you're ready to change your life and you want to live your true self, happy, healthy, and becoming the person you're meant to be, then start coaching with Chloe. Her coaching offer is on our website too, Problem Solver, coaching for women who are ready to rock and roll. So thank you so much.
I love it. Let's rock and roll, ladies. So women, we hear you, we see you, we love you. And you can find us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and YouTube. And God bless and good night.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you. Ciao for now.
Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.